15th century Italy became the home of many painters. However, one of them managed to introduce himself to the world as a genius by crossing all the limits of painting. He overshadowed many painters and scientists before and after him with his formidable intelligence and intense desire to work. Leonardo da Vinci. Leonardo da Vinci was born on April 15, 1452, as the illegitimate child of a poor peasant woman. His father was a notary public in Florence. For this reason, Leonardo da Vinci spent his childhood and youth in Florence. Curious and enthusiastic from his childhood years, Leonardo wasn't really inclined towards anything. He was just a little bit interested in everything and his enthusiasm was gone. So he didn't know what to turn to. Besides, he was dealing with many things at the same time. During the first years of school, he got into an argument with Benedetto Dall'Abaco, the most famous math teacher of his time. This discussion became the basis of the work he was to prepare in the future, called Divine Tenezup. Leonardo da Vinci, who adopted mathematics and geometry strictly, determined the science of geometry as the basis of his paintings. Enthusiastic about music for a short time, Leonardo also learned to play various instruments and even impressed those who listened to him in the Milan Palace with his beautiful voice. However, the event that radically changed his fate and affected his life was not with his voice, but with his talent for painting. What made Leonardo da Vinci a genius of art was his perspective on science and art. Leonardo evaluated science and art on the same scale and value. But at that time, children out of wedlock were not allowed to enter the university. Because of this rule, he lost hope of higher education and devoted himself to painting. Noticing this talent of his father went to Verrocchio, one of the famous painters of the period, by taking some of Leonardo's works one day. Master Verrocchio, who had been a student of Donatello, was surprised and fascinated by the paintings. He asked Leonardo's father to send his child to him. At that time, Leonardo was only 15 years old. This master, whom he took as an apprentice, was dealing with a painting on the baptism of Jesus at that time. The seasoned master considered giving a task to his talented apprentice. Leonardo's task was to add an angel to the top of this painting. Leonardo da Vinci made the angel figure so beautiful that he proved to be better than his master Verrocchio with his talent. He apprenticed here for 4 years. Leonardo, who painted every day until the evening, was busy with other branches of science when he went home in the evening. Leonardo, who loved to work and learn, was learning especially mathematics, physics, philosophy and geometry. During this time he had developed his own sleeping method. He slept 6 hours a day, sleeping 15 minutes an hour. As the days passed like this, one day he thought that he had completed his education and decided to leave. After leaving here, he worked for years and drew sketches. He painted unfinished portraits of several dukes. Finally, in 1494, the Duke of Milan died and was succeeded by Ludovico Sforza. Leonardo's reputation had reached Sforza's ears. Then Sforza summoned Leonardo to court service. Leonardo also wrote his own qualifications by writing a letter to the Duke. This letter was a testament to what a comprehensive and versatile genius Leonardo was. In this 10-point letter, he wrote that he was a very good physicist and was interested in painting and geometry. He never mentioned his musical education and talent in this letter. However, interestingly, Sforza took Leonardo as an instrumentalist, fascinating the audience first with a lute and then with a musical instrument that he made himself. Leonardo has made a breakthrough in the field of music as well. In the end, Sforza wanted him to work on whatever he wanted. Afterwards, he served in many subjects in the palace and gave good examples in the field of painting. Working for the Duke for 17 years, Leonardo was designing machinery and weapons, preparing festivals and organizations, as well as making paintings and sculptures. Leonardo had so many interests and talents that his focus on more than one field caused him to leave many jobs unfinished. After 1490, he started to keep his works in a notebook. The notebook pages consisting of these notes Leonardo took were collected as a collection. Today, the manuscripts in which he noted his work in the field of hydraulics are in Bill Gates. After working for the Duke of Milan for many years, he toured Italy for 16 years and worked for different people. In the meantime, he began to paint the Mona Lisa, which is among the most famous paintings in the world and moreover, considered the most successful painting in the history of humanity. He took the painting he started to draw in 1503 wherever he went and never left it with him. Leonardo dealt with this work for exactly 4 years. And finally a masterpiece emerged. He was interested in anatomy and physiology while he lived in Rome around 1515. However, the Pope's prohibition of working on cadavers hindered his interest. This curiosity made him meet Della Torre, the most famous anatomy teacher of the time. This duo, who worked together for a long time, prepared a book called Human Anatomy. The sketches that Leonardo drew for this book were the first and most beautiful examples in the history of medicine. He had perfectly drawn the skeletons of men and women, nerves, muscles and organs. He also wrote some weird writings from right to left for his private notes. Leonardo was left-handed and it was necessary to hold a mirror to read these strange writings he wrote with his left hand. In fact, it was a fact that he used both hands equally and perfectly. In the years that followed each other, he signed many works. In addition to making new paintings, he made new inventions. He also presented many important masterpieces such as The Last Supper and Milan Cathedral to the history of art. In addition, Leonardo, who made the first drawings of many inventions, designed technological inventions such as bicycles, submarines and helicopters. In 1502, the Sultan of the period, Sultan II, he presented the drawing of the bridge that was requested to be built on the Golden Horn for Bayezid. The bridge design, which was not accepted at the time, was later made in Norway, although not exactly the same. He developed the idea that humans could fly with the help of a certain mechanism, thanks to the movement in the wings and muscle structure of birds, and made some researches on these. In the same way, it was seen that he developed the first submarine projects based on the ideas that people could live underwater like fish. After a while, he continued to work even though the left side of his body was affected as a result of his paralysis, but his painting works were mainly done by his student and old friend Melzi. Although he couldn't use many brushes, he concentrated on drawing patterns and surrealistic drawings on the flood theme. Leonardo, who was paralyzed in his right arm and confined to bed in 1518, died on May 2, 1519 at the age of 67. He was buried in the church of the Florentine Abbey,